Sai Ram. Keep track of time. Offering my most humble salutations to our Divine Master, Satya Sai Baba, and loving Sai Ram to one and all present here. Shriyuta Murti Vatsalata Chindadi Sundara Satya Kirti Apyayata Rupudalchina Krupavara Sagara Chakravarti Sushreya Mugurchi Bodalu Vachinchu Sukokila Ganamurti Shri Satya Sai Isha Ni Charana Sarasamul Bhajinchadan Prabhu. Nearly a decade ago, Swami had granted interview to a group of students. And as the conversation continues in the interview room, Swami was asking questions, boys were asking questions back. There was one particular boy that was going through a lot of emotions on that day with Swami. He got reminded of many things that happened to him. Swami touched his head and reminded him of something that only he knew, so he was on cloud 9. And then he goes to Swami and says, Swami, I am ready to die for you. I'm sure all of us must have had this moment when God helps us very, very touchingly, and you want to express your gratitude to God, and then you go with what we all hear in the movies, that probably the best form of expression of our love is to die for someone. So with this little knowledge that this boy has gained, he goes to Swami and says, Swami, I want to die for you. And Swami shoots back, saying, Bangaru, don't die for me, live for me. Now, this is as easy as it sounds, but if you really take this little sentence of Swami and start to decode and start to see, what exactly did Swami say here? Is it even possible for us to live according to what Swami wants us to do? Swami kept saying, like Brother Anil said, my life is my message. That is what Swami has said over and over again. We sing it in songs, we say it over and over again, we have it printed everywhere in Prashanthanilayam. Probably Swami said, my life is my message. Now if you look at this sentence in particular again, when avatar of the age comes down and tells everyone sitting in front of him that my life is my message, that is his life is his message, that has got nothing to do with any one of us. You remain the perfect audience forever, do nothing, just be present, and he will do what he wants to do. Because all he's saying is his life is his message. So where is our role in that whole mission? Zero. And maybe I might go back and forth with the date, but somewhere towards the end of 90s, or maybe even mid-90s, Swami started to say something that actually involves you and me. He says, I have given enough message to you all, now it's time that your lives must be my message. Now if you look at this sentence, this has got every one of us involved in big measure. Swami is saying that our lives must be led according to his message. So now if you even try and see if that is possible, I mean, can I even live up to Swami's message? Is that even physically possible? Now if you look at what all, I mean the 9 or 10 commandments that Swami has given for us to be a perfect devotee, that we fail maybe 30 days a month if you try and practice every day literally. And if these are just 10 commandments of the many things that Swami has asked us to do. So it's very easy for us to sit with all the intellect that we have to decide and maybe go back and tell Swami, well, you said what you said, but it's practically not possible for us to live our lives according to your message. You see, probably when you told, you lived all your life in India, in Puttaparthi, not even all of India. So your knowledge is limited to the Indian setting. So I am here living in the most developed nation in the world, United States. So what you said there doesn't fit very well here. So Swami, I am ready to do it, but then with some XYZ compromises. This is what we would probably tell Swami back if Swami insists that no, you must live your life according to my message. Just when I was going through this thought as well, that probably Swami, it's not possible. Though you said it, I don't think I can do it. I don't think anybody is doing it at all. Very strangely, around the same time when I was going through this thought, I came across a story. And some of you might have heard it, some of you might already know it for fact, but this was very, very intriguing to me as I read it. This is a story of a being that is much, much insignificant than any one of us sitting here. It's a story of a bumblebee. I do not know how many of you know, but the bumblebee, by design, by the aerodynamics of its body structure, by the physics of how body weight versus the wings and the body and on the feet and how your head is pointed out. You see how the birds fly and how the planes fly. There is certain physics involved in how a body lifts off from ground and can stay afloat and then comes back. All of those theories, all of those big physics, big numbers, big aerodynamics does not fit into this little body of a bumblebee. So the scientist, the aerodynamic specialist, everyone who could be called a specialist in this field, have decided that this being cannot fly and should not fly. That's not what it is meant for. But all of us know for a fact that this bumblebee flies. It goes wherever it wants, whenever it wants, and however it wants. For the simple reason, this bumblebee is not as intellect as the rest of the people that we talked about. It did not study any aerodynamics. It did not study any physics. So it has no knowledge of what everybody has branded it to be. So it innocently steps on from flower to flower and leads its life and ends its life. So why is this little bumblebee story important to us today? This is not just the story of the bee, but it is actually the story of each one of us. Sometimes our intellect, sometimes our knowledge, sometimes our experience, sometimes what we think we are, what we have established ourselves begins to become the hindrance to us and not really the supporting factor for us to reach God, for us to follow God, for us to follow what Swami is saying. If we turn the pages of Puranas, there is this one great devotee that Bhagavatam especially talks about, is Gajendra. I'm sure you heard of Gajendra Moksham as an episode in itself in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Gajendra is the mighty king of elephants. He rules the elephant kingdom, and he is adorned as the best and as the mightiest and as the strongest elephant that has ever lived. Now, Gajendra one day, as he is walking with his herd in the forest, feels thirsty. He steps aside from his herd. Thank you. He steps aside from his herd and steps into a little pond that he sees, drinks water, and as he's trying to come back to join his herd, he feels a pull on his leg. As he feels the pull on his leg, the first thing that comes to Gajendra's mind is that I am the king. I can be pulled down by some small rope or a twig or any other hindrance that could be there in this pond. So he tries to pull off his leg with all his strength. Probably did not even use all of his strength because he didn't think that was needed. The king that he was. The leg would not come. He tried harder. He still could not make his way out of the pond. And soon he realized it's a hungry crocodile that's in this water that's trying to pull him back. But the mighty king that he is, he could have asked his herd for help, but he did not, because he always had this in his head that he is the mighty king. He's the strongest on earth. He's the best of the best elephants that has ever lived. So he did not need help. So he never wanted to stop and ask for help, neither did he make all of the effort that he needed to make, because he knew if not this minute, the next minute, the crocodile had to give up because he is the best. He tried harder and harder and harder, and the crocodile was equally adamant on getting his meal that day. As Bhagavatam notes, The fight between Gajendra and the crocodile went on for months. And after a very, very, very long time, Gajendra has decided that it is not up to him to save himself. He needs an external force. He needs an help. And then he looks up to the heavens and cries for help. Lavo kintayu ledu. He sings that famous song. Lavo kintayu ledu dhairyamu vilolambai pranambulun. He says, "Oh Lord, my confidence, my strength, my life, it's all diminishing in front of me." The Lord heard the prayer, but has not responded yet. The elephant does not stop. This is after months of fighting with the crocodile. The Gajendra continues, "Bhagavan, thaval tappenu murcha vache, tanundassen shamamba yedin. I am losing it all. I might pass out any time. My strength is completely drained out." God listened again, but hasn't responded yet. Gajendra needs his life. He is willing to come back. He has not given up yet. His last refuge, God. And then he used these magic 5 words that probably all of us use also in our desperate need. He said, "Bhagavan, nive tappa ita paramberuga. Mannimpadagundinu nen." Said, "Lord, I have no one else but you." I'm sure all of us go through these moments also. When we know for sure that we are deep, deep in trouble and there is no one else but God that can pull up, then we use this trump card. Not the trump we know, but the trump card. That God, there is no one else but you. Nive tappa ita paramberuga. The 5 magic word. Nive tappa ita paramberuga. And here is when, as the story goes in Bhagavatam, Mahavishnu in Vaikunta at the same point in time was playing with what is equivalent to what we understand, chess, with Mother Lakshmi. And as he is playing, his upper cloth is tied to Mother's sari. And they were playing, and he hears this cry from his devotee, "Nive tappa ita paramberuga." The minute he heard it, he briskly moved, he summoned Garuda, he picked up his Sudarshana Chakra and started heading towards the devotee. And as he moves, if you look at any pictures in Bhagavatam, you will see Mahavishnu coming down without an upper cloth. The reason being, he did not even bother while he moved if he had one on top of him or not. That is the power of prayer. That is the power of an ardent devotee calling out his Lord, saying, "God, I have no one else but you." Now you might ask this question. Now that we know this secret, or probably you already know it before, why does God not come every time and help me every time I tell him, "Nive tappa ita paramberuga"? God is kind, but he is also very smart. There is a catch here. The catch is the word number 2 in this 5 magic words, which is tappa. Tappa in Sanskrit means "but for you." When you say "but for you," there is a sense of surrender that you express in your words. And this is the catch. God does not come every time you call just because you know what is the magic word, but he comes only if you call with surrender. Knowing very well, Swami himself has said, "I come to help you," knowing very well you will do the same mistake all over again in the future. God can see what's going on in the future. He has seen what went in the past. He is now in the present. So he very well knows that you will in the future commit the same error, get equally desperate, call God again. But with that knowledge, he does not punish you today. He comes again and again and again, though he very well knows probably you will go the wrong path once again. That is the compassionate Lord. That is the loving God. That is the ocean of love we are talking about. Swami said himself, I have no other job but to protect my devotee. These are Swami's words. But again, the catch is surrender. Gita, Bhagavan Krishna has also mentioned in Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. He did not say vinashaya cha dushkritam paritranaya sadhunam. The very reason why Avatar comes down again and again is to save his devotee, is to protect his devotee. Incidentally, he also punishes the wicked. But punishing the wicked is not why he is coming down. So the primary duty of an avatar, as avatars have mentioned time and again, is to protect his or her devotee. If that is what they have come for, the question that we have to ask ourselves is, why is it not coming every time I need? Is because you have not surrendered. Talking of surrender, Swami has said this beautiful anecdote. There is this man standing on top of the hill, and he wants to jump. And he tells God, God, I know you are all powerful, and I know you love me, I know I love you, so we have a very good relationship going on. And when I jump, and just when I was about to crash, when I'm about to crash to ground, you come with all your might and just save me, catch me, and so I don't get hurt. But, however, I know you are very busy. I know you have a lot of other things to do other than taking care of myself. So I also have a parachute. Just in case you don't show up in the last few meters, I will open this up and then I take care of myself. And then Swami says, in such a case, probably God will surely not come, your parachute also might not open. So surrender is most important. So if you see the Navavidha Bhakti Marga, the last one, the most important one is Atma Nivedanam. Not just regular surrender, but surrender, total surrender. Probably the best meaning of Atma Nivedan is surrendering yourself soulfully, if I put it that way. And then Gajendra goes on, Rave Ishvara, Kavave Varada, Samrakshimpu Bhadratmaka. Oh Lord, please come and help me. I have no one else but you. I have completely drained out. If you don't save me now, I am ready to give up my life. And that's when Lord comes in Garuda. He releases his Sudarshan Chakra, cuts through the crocodile, and then releases his devotee Gajendra. Time and again we have seen avatars come. Avatars give promises. Avatars take care of their devotees and go. But what humankind has got used to is to go through the cycle of birth and death and not really, like Swami has said himself, do not attach yourself to my body. Do not fall in love with my orange robe. What you will have to understand and experience is the spirit of divinity that I embody. Two beautiful incidents that I recall at this point, not at the level of Gajendra or anything similar, but something that I have experienced myself and have seen that I would like to share at this point. Give you a little brief of what Puttaparthi is, what Prashanthi Nilayam is, just so everyone is following the story when I narrate. Prashanthi Nilayam is a little town within the town of Puttaparthi. Puttaparthi is a city, if I put it that way, and Prashanthi Nilayam is a little premises that is completely owned by Satya Sai organization, and it has Swami's Mandir, Swami's residence, the book trust, and everything else. So Prashanthi Nilayam is where, of course, I would say again and again, and I'm sure you would hear during the day, or probably must have read in books and everything, Prashanthi Nilayam is a little place in Puttaparthi. So this is, in Prashanthi Nilayam, Swami of course comes out every day for darshan, morning and evening, sees devotees, talks to devotees, interacts with everyone who is there, and meets people that have come to see him, and so on and so forth. So on this fine evening, Swami comes out, and it is a beautiful day. You would think this is the perfect day for you to ask Swami for anything. He looks very happy as he walks by, his hair slowly being caressed by the air. And it's a beautiful sight as you watch Swami come by, the radiance, the glow, and the devotees pining, and Swami is taking letters, granting vibhuti to a few. And so that's a beautiful sight as he walks by, and he completes the ladies' line, talks to the students, goes the full circle, goes back in the front, and there he narrates to, he tells a few students who are there in the front, be ready with something for me to see. I will come back in some time. Now, this is an instruction as vague as it can be. So Swami goes back inside. Now, Swami asked for something to be put up. Now, this is, you can understand, you can predict a bit, having seen what usually Swami expects. It's usually a play, or a musical program, or a talk, or anything of that sort. But again, when Swami asks, so you already have some established speakers, established play, those who do the play regularly, and so on and so forth. So the warden got the message, so he made a few boys ready to do what could be done that evening. And Swami really comes at 4 o'clock or so. This happened around 2:30 in the afternoon, and Swami comes out at around 4 and sits there. And this is in front of Ganesha. So this is a perfect picture for me to explain what I'm talking about. That Ganesha statue that you see in the middle is the central point of all of the mandir, and Swami's chair, if you can see, if it's not very clear probably from there, there is a little Swami's chair, and that's where Swami would sit, and here are the students, and the ladies would be on my right, and the gents would be sitting on the left as the picture goes. And Swami's interview room is here. This is Swami's interview room, meaning Swami goes in and comes out to meet people. So Swami comes back and sits approximately where the chair is placed. And now Swami hasn't said a word after coming back again. So you do not start anything until Swami asks you to that evening. So Swami comes, sits, and the music, I would think the Vedam probably is going on at that point in time. Swami closes his eyes and enjoys the Vedam for some time. Then he signals for the Vedam to stop, meaning now something else is going to start. So all of these boys who were made ready are very eager as to who would get a chance, because if you do a play, you might not get a chance to speak. If you start to speak, you might not get a chance because you have a limited amount of time. Everyone is ready, and Swami has done neither. He is not called for a play, he is not called the music boys, he is not even called for the talk. So from where I sit, I've been sitting somewhere a little far off, maybe 5th or 6th row from the front. I could see the warden going to Swami and explaining probably that yes, there are some students lined up for you to see Swami. And Swami listened to it, and he hasn't called anyone in particular. He continues to call the birthday boys. Again, birthday boys is those who are celebrating their birthday on that particular day, have a unique privilege of taking a tray of nuts or some